Today I am going to explain about ambiguous grammar. Grammar already you know it contains some set of protections with from that starting symbol you have to derive some set of strings, that is grammar. Ambiguous grammar is nothing but it is one that produce more than one leftmost derivation or more than one rightmost derivation for the same sentence. That is nothing but ambiguous grammar. So every parse tree has associated with it unique leftmost derivation and rightmost derivation. But in the ambiguous grammar, it produces more than one parse tree for the same sentence. For example, this is the given grammar. For E, there are four different production: E plus E, E tends to E plus E, E tends to E asterisk E, E tends to E within the parenthesis, and E tends to ID. These are the four different productions. And we have to derive the input ID plus ID asterisk ID. So with help of the leftmost derivation, first we are taking the production E tends to E plus E. So leftmost derivation means we have to check which one is the leftmost non-terminal symbol. So out of these two E, this is the leftmost non-terminal symbol. You have to choose this E, and for this E, you have to replace the E with the production E tends to ID. So E is replaced with ID here. So it is possible to replace this E with E asterisk E or parenthesis E anything. But if you are replacing with E asterisk E means asterisk will comes first. But in our input asterisk will comes at the last. If we are choosing this E means there is no parenthesis in our input. So we have to replace that E with ID here. Plus is a terminal symbol, so it's come as it is. And the next leftmost non-terminal symbol is this E. So you have to replace this E with any productions here. So you have to compare this with our input. In our input, after ID plus here asterisk symbols will come, so you have to choose E asterisk E production. So this E is replaced with E asterisk E. Again, the out of these two E, the leftmost non-terminal is this one, that is replaced with ID. Hereafter it is not possible to any productions. Out of these productions, we have to choose only ID, because here plus is there, here asterisk is there, here parenthesis is there, but in our input there is nothing. So just you can replace E with this ID, and after removing this there is only one more non-terminal symbol, so you have to replace that E with ID again. So now it is we are deriving the input ID plus ID asterisk ID. This is leftmost derivation. Similarly, you can choose any other production. So for example, E tends to, here we are choosing E plus E, but in this production we are choosing E asterisk E. We are solving this production with the help of leftmost derivation only. In the first leftmost derivation for E, we are choosing the first production E plus E. In the second leftmost derivation, we are choosing the production E tends to E asterisk E. So now this E is replaced with again E plus E, because in our input the first symbol is plus, so this E is replaced with E plus E. This asterisk E come as it is. Now it is similar to our input, plus is there, asterisk is there, only you have to replace this E with the terminal symbols. So the leftmost terminal symbol is this E, so it is replaced with ID. So after removing this, the plus is the terminal symbol. Next leftmost E is this one, so replace this E with ID, and the last leftmost non-terminal symbol is this E, so that is replaced with ID here. By choosing different production for the same grammar, we are getting two different leftmost derivation. So on the definition itself we discussed, in a grammar it produce more than one leftmost derivation or more than one rightmost derivation for the same grammar or same sentence. It is the ambiguous grammar. So here the grammar is the same grammar, but we are choosing a different production. For different production, for the same grammar, we are deriving the input by using the leftmost derivation. More than one leftmost derivation is here. So this is nothing but the ambiguous grammar. So for these grammar, suppose if you are draw the parse tree for first leftmost derivation, E tends to E plus E, and this E is replaced with ID plus is a terminal symbol, leave as it is, and here the next E is replaced with E asterisk E, so E asterisk E, again this E is replaced with ID, last this E is replaced with this ID. So if we are connecting all the terminal symbols, ID plus ID asterisk ID, so this is the structure. For the second leftmost derivation, the parse tree is like this. E tends to E asterisk E, and the first E is replaced with E plus E. So E is replaced with E plus E. Now this E is replaced with ID, plus is a terminal symbol. This I is replaced with ID. Asterisk is the terminal symbol. This I is replaced with ID. So this is the second parse tree. Here we are getting two different parse tree for the same input or the same grammar. So it is nothing but ambiguous. So ambiguous is nothing but for the same grammar or same sentence or same input, we are producing more than one leftmost derivation or more than one rightmost derivation or more than one parse tree for the same sentence or same input or same grammar. It is nothing but ambiguous. Thank you.